So my first question would be, how does Zurich view the current global economic landscape, and what implications do you see for investment trends, for businesses growth in the Asia-Pacific?
So I think it's a really interesting time. It's a time of highly elevated policy uncertainty, as you know. A lot of this year has been dominated by tariffs. When, how much, where, which sector, when again. And certainly a lot of the Western markets, you're seeing growth, as you just observed, moderating. You're seeing fiscal pressures. You're seeing questions around productivity and employment levels. Policymakers are thinking about how to create supportive environments. You're seeing the interest rate cuts overnight. But I think it's fair to say globally it's a very mixed picture. And against that backdrop, Asia, I think, remains a really clear opportunity for growth. If you look at growth rates across Asia, they've stayed roughly mid-single digits GDP growth. Malaysia at 4.8, Indonesia around 5, India at 7.8. So you're seeing sort of solid, strong growth. You're seeing consumer confidence remaining resilient. You're seeing business and economic environments, competitive environments moving positively forward. So all of that, I think, the fundamentals are strong in Asia. And so I think that bodes well for investment in Asia.
What do you think is the underlying factors of Asia's growth, despite the uncertainties that is being faced by the economy globally?
The fundamentals come back to large markets with young populations, growing middle class, investment in public and private infrastructure. So some of the core fundamentals in these markets are strong, and we've seen development over a long period of time, and I think we will continue to see that over the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Over the next 10 until 2015 years. Well, that's very optimistic. Thank you so much for us as an opening remarks of this discussion. So what are the key drivers behind Zurich's decision to increase investment in the Asia-Pacific region? How do you see this also impacting the company's growth prospects?
So we're one of the largest insurance groups in the world. We're 150 years old. We're a hugely diversified business. We're Swiss-born, European-rooted, big US business, growing positions in Asia and Latin America. We follow the growth of the economies of the world. And so going back to the fundamentals that we were talking about, Asia is clearly one of the bright spots for global growth, and that's why we've been investing. We've seen that translate into results in our business. So we've seen double-digit growth in our revenue, in our property casualty revenue over the last 4 years. We've seen our profit go up 30% since 2022. So the commitment to Asia, the growth that we're seeing in Asia is translating directly into results for us.
What are the key strategic priorities for Zurich business growth in the Asia-Pacific over the next 5 years? And how do you also plan to achieve them strategically?
So we have 3 pillars to our business. Our retail property casualty business is where we help individuals and small businesses with motor insurance, with health insurance, with travel insurance. We have very strong positions in our markets in that area, and we're continuing to develop that. And our strategy is focused on improving our digital capability, innovation in product, and making product more accessible to customers. Because in Asia, in most of our markets, the issue is around penetration and recognition of insurance. We're one of the world's largest commercial insurers, and what we're seeing with companies and businesses in Asia is an increasing sophistication in insurance needs. And so we're bringing our global commercial capabilities to our markets here. And last but not least, there's a real protection gap for life and health insurance in Asia, and that's another big topic for us. So those are our 3 pillars, those are our priorities, those are what we're working on.
Something that is uniquely Asian, right, about the insurance industry. Ma'am, I want to bring you back forward about what you've said before at the opening of this discussion. So we ultimately see there's a lot of volatility and then uncertainties during these days, especially 2025, when there's an announcement of tariffs since April, the higher interest rates, the geopolitical tensions, and so on. Has Zurich Insurance had to adjust its strategy in Asia-Pacific due to the recent geopolitical and macroeconomic shift?
Our business is really about creating resilience. resilience for our customers, whether retail customers or companies. So we've not had to make adjustments. We have just had to continue to be there to provide insurance for our customers. We continue to see strong demand for the product and for our services. The areas which I think have become increasingly relevant in this uncertain environment are where we provide advice to our customers.
Oh, okay.
So help our customers think through how do these risks manifest in their business models, scenario plan against different situations that might arise, and help manage and mitigate risk. So we're seeing a big demand for that kind of advisory service to our
advisory during these uncertain times.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, have been in business for 150 years and having been passing through a lot of crises, I think Zurich already has the formula for that, right?
Yes, so we're used to dealing with uncertainty. It's what we do as a business. And so I think we find the most important thing in these times is to be able to look at patterns globally, to understand what we're seeing, and to share information across our different markets, and to help our customers think through the risks that might present to their business and help them manage them.
Navigating the crisis. I think that the most recent crisis that we have probably before this was the COVID-19. And after that, there's the scaring effect, and then there's this geopolitical tensions and so on. Is there any certain playbook for Zurich to navigating the crisis, probably specifically for the advisory units for consumers, and customers regarding this?
I think what we find is during times of crisis, customers are reminded of the value of insurance. That is the time when there's a disruption, and they understand that an insurance product or service creates resilience, whether it's in people's lives, because during the COVID-19 crisis it was about life and health, whether it is around small business interruption, whether it is around supply chain disruption. So a crisis is a time when there is uncertainty, there is volatility, and customers are reminded of the value of insurance. And at that time, I think what's really important for us is to be steady, to be there for our customers, to be proactive in communicating about the product or the service that we're providing. And that's what we do.